What's going on, you guys? The Silent Reviews here, coming at you guys with yet another video today. I mentioned it last night before Monday Night Raw that I was going to do my reaction video to the show and what I thought about it, so this is what you came here for. So in today's video we're going to be talking about Raw, what I thought about the show, what they could have done, add some changes to it. And yeah, just we also got some things to talk about later as well. Probably gonna be in another video, but I am gonna mention this. But we'll talk about it. So first off, Raw was in Lafayette, Louisiana, I think, and I don't know what the deal was with this crowd, but you guys were just god awful. And I'm being completely honest with you all. Louisiana, Lafayette, or whatever the fuck, you guys suck, man. The crowd was dead all night long. I don't even remember once on the show where the crowd actually popped for something. They were even dead when Sasha and Bayley were out celebrating their title win at the Elimination Chamber. You know, becoming the first ever women's tag team champions. The crowd was dead. No reaction. That's just pathetic, man. So we're gonna talk about the show. I don't think I'm gonna go over everything. I'm just gonna go over like the important stuff. So I made a video last night before Monday Night Raw, and I was really hyped because I had a message, a notification from the WWE app, and it stated Tommaso Ciampa, Johnny Gargano, Ricochet, and Aleister Black are backstage on Raw. I was excited. I didn't know what was going on. I thought they were planning some sort of NXT invasion. I thought they were all gonna attack people on Raw and then start a storyline, kind of like similar to the Nexus, but with better guys here. Being that these four guys are like the future of this company, but that didn't end up happening. Instead, Triple H came out and he started the show. It's good though, because at least it's not Stephanie or Vince, but it was good to see Triple H on the show. Just him, not Stephanie. It was just him, and he talked about the future of Monday Night Raw and WWE, and he mentioned NXT stars. The first thing he said though was, of course, he mentioned the Hall of Fame. He mentioned him and the rest of DX going into the Hall of Fame. So we knew he was going to talk about that. And then that's when he got into the NXT stuff, saying that 4 of the top NXT stars in this business are going to be making their debut on Monday Night Raw. As soon as he said that, I was like, wait a minute, what? I was a little confused, but I also got a little bit excited, being that I love these 4 guys. They're just my favorite in NXT, alongside Velveteen Dream and Adam Cole and the rest of the Undisputed Era, and Street Profits and War Raiders and so many other people in NXT. Bianca Belair, Shayna Baszler, Kairi Sane, Io Shirai, so many that you love in NXT. Those are just name a few. I can name so many more. But yeah, so he talked about Ricochet, he talked about Johnny Gargano, he talked about Tommaso Ciampa, and then he talked about Aleister Black. And he showed video packages, or when Michael Cole was talking about all 4 guys, and basically, he was talking about kind of introducing them to the WWE universe. If you didn't know who they are, then you won't be disappointed, of course. So there's that. And then Triple H went on saying that the first match of the night, after he talked about the NXT stuff, he talked about the first match that was taking place, and he said that there's a reason why we have tables out here, and I didn't even notice that there was tables in the first place, because the show started with Triple H already in the ring, so we didn't see the entrance stage until they showed it, and they showed tables around there. So, and that's when Triple H mentioned the reason why we have tables out here is because we're having a tables match with Braun Strowman and Baron Corbin. Whatever. So we had that, and I'm not gonna say it was a bad match. It was definitely better than the previous matches they had in the past. But again, like, who wants to see this? Nobody. Nobody wants to see it, so that's why nobody really gave a shit. I mean, when I saw it, I was just like, okay, this again. And sure, it was a gimmick match, it was a table match, but still, I didn't really care. I mean, it's good that Braun Strowman got the win. He put Corbin through the table. He had the table set up in the corner. There was a point in this match where Braun, he actually grabbed the steel steps. Corbin was on the ring apron, he was going to jump on a Braun, and Braun grabbed the steel steps and hit Corbin right in the face. That was a cool little spot. And then he did it again. And then Corbin was taken out, and Braun was just pretty much done with Corbin, and so he set up the table in the corner in the ring, and then he hit Corbin with the power slam, and that was it. Baron Corbin lost to Braun Strowman, and Braun Strowman wins the tables match. So, okay. So, after that, we had Paul Heyman come out. And I've been noticing, this has been going on for a few weeks now, where basically whenever one segment is over, they just move on to the right next to the next segment. But they do that before they go into commercial, which is kind of weird. So what happened after Braun won and he was heading to the back, Paul Heyman came out and he was about to talk, and then Braun just was just choking on the part, and Heyman was just making me crack up, saying, "Oh, I can't breathe, I can't breathe." It was some funny stuff. And then they went to commercial. Paul said, "Give me a minute," and then they came back on, and Paul Heyman was talking about Brock Lesnar again, and he was saying that Seth Rollins has no chance at WrestleMania against the Beast. And then they aired this video package of Brock Lesnar and his dominance in WWE, and Paul Heyman reminding the fans of the Beast Incarnate's most biggest moments, including ending The Undertaker's undefeated WrestleMania streak, and yet people still boo that to this day. I got over it years ago. To me, it doesn't really matter anymore, because now when Undertaker competes at WrestleMania, it's just standard now, and it's not for anything in particular, being that the streak is done. So the first thing we saw John Cena, SummerSlam 2014, John Cena being destroyed by Brock Lesnar. We all remember that. That was the birth of Suplex City, and Cena suffered 16 German suplexes, and he lost the WWE title to Brock Lesnar. Yeah, way to treat John Cena at the time. And then after that, Paul Heyman mentioned, after Cena, he mentioned Daniel Bryan, Finn Balor, AJ Styles, everybody else that Brock has fought, Randy Orton, Roman Reigns. He mentioned so many other people that Brock has fought over the years. And then he talked about Seth Rollins, and then he talked about Rollins is gonna just lose to Brock Lesnar. He has no chance or whatever. And then they showed Seth getting F5 when he took the 6 F5s on Raw a couple weeks ago. It was 3 weeks ago, I believe. And then Seth was off on TV the next week, and then he came back on. And now he's been on Raw just for the past 2 weeks. So after that, Paul Heyman's, again, he started talking about the WrestleMania match of Rollins and Lesnar. I mean, this was kind of cool because it was just getting you excited for their match at WrestleMania, kind of building up towards the storyline here. And it was literally just like a generic attempt to keep the feud going, while Lesnar isn't off of TV, and Rollins is just doing his own thing. Even though he's not competing on Raw right now, he's still on TV, which is good. So I'd rather see him on TV instead of not seeing him for a whole month, because it'd be kind of dumb if we just see him at WrestleMania and then he wins the title and we're just like, okay, so they kick Rollins off of TV for a month so he can recover, and then he just wins the title like that. So it's better if you just keep him on TV. Moving on from that, we had Finn Balor. This was the next segment that they moved on to. So after Heyman was done talking, Finn Balor's music hit. The new Intercontinental Champion defeated Bobby Lashley and Lio Rush on the same night to win the Intercontinental title. His first major title since 2016. when he won the Universal title, the inaugural first ever Universal Champion. It's Finn Balor we're talking about. So he came out and basically, again, they went to commercial. His music was just playing. They came back and Finn Balor was in there. Paul Heyman was nowhere to be seen. Paul Heyman was just gone. And basically they just moved on to the next segment. So Finn Balor came out and he was in the ring. He was talking about the prestigious Intercontinental title, the people that have held it, Razor Ramon, Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, so many other people. And he mentioned that now that he is an Intercontinental Champion, he's going to be the best Intercontinental Champion we have ever seen. And I truly, truly believe that, because Finn Balor is going to have an awesome run as the Intercontinental Champion. If you think Rollins' IC title run was great last year, just imagine what Finn Balor can do with that title around his waist. And he got interrupted again by Lio Rush, and Lio Rush came out solo. We didn't know what to expect, and he said that Balor doesn't deserve to be IC champion, and then he mentioned Bobby Lashley, and Bobby Lashley deserves to be champion, not Balor. And then Lashley comes from behind, attacks Balor, and now it's a 2-on-1 assault. Lashley and Rush beating up Balor. All of a sudden, Ricochet's music hit. Ricochet comes out and he helps Finn Balor, and he does his little flips, and he takes them out. And then we get back from the commercial. Ricochet is now on his first match of Monday Night Raw, teaming with the Intercontinental Champion Finn Balor. This is a dream team right here. Just imagine the match that these two can have. It's going to be a 5-star clinic, no doubt. If they have a match, imagine Ricochet and Finn Balor WrestleMania for Intercontinental title. Man, take my fucking money. Who would not want to see that? So Ricochet and Finn Balor versus Lio Rush and Bobby Lashley. This was actually a really good tag team match. I am not going to lie. Usually matches like this, they're kind of boring. They're kind of generic. Because, one superstar just gets hurt. Or not really hurt, but he gets a lot of offense on the other superstar, and then we have to wait like 5 or 10 minutes until the other guy tags in or whatever. This is not what happened here. I mean, Finn Balor was in this match for a little bit of a time, while Rush and Bobby Lashley were just putting him down, allowing Ricochet to just stand there and not get the tag. And then Ricochet finally came in and he took advantage of it. And he did his little flips again, and it was cool to see. I've always been a fan of Ricochet, even in his indie days before he debuted on NXT. Because I remember watching him in Lucha Underground under Prince Puma. So yeah. And then Ricochet ends up winning this match with, of course, the 630 senton. Beautiful fucking move. Oh man, just seeing that in slow motion every time, it's a thing of beauty. And Ricochet and Finn Balor win on Monday Night Raw. Ricochet wins his first match in WWE, and it was great. Big things coming for Ricochet, man, no doubt. I could definitely see him and Finn Balor colliding at WrestleMania for the Intercontinental Championship. If this means that Ricochet is now on Raw, along with the others that I'm going to talk about in a few, then maybe that means they're still going to be on NXT, but they're also going to be fighting on Raw and SmackDown. Just allowing them to compete on whatever brand they want. Because it'd be cool if they could just compete on all 3 brands at once, instead of just be wasted on Raw and not compete on NXT anymore. So yeah. So afterwards we had the Lucha House Party versus the Major Brothers Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins. This was just one of those filler tag team matches, and it was just a random match, and I'm not going to say it was bad, but it was just kind of like, yeah, okay, Lucha House Party, Kurt Hawkins, Zack Ryder, whatever. I mean, it was an okay little match, and it wasn't bad. It wasn't really boring. It was just there, It just got the job done for Raw, for storyline fillers or whatever. People really thought Kurt Hawkins was going to win this match, and he was going to take his first win ever in over 2.5 years or whatever. He has like 216 something losses. Jesus Christ, man. That is a terrible, terrible losing streak. And of course the streak continues, and Lucha House Party won't get the win. Heavy Machinery. Oh man. Heavy Machinery, they come out, and I guess Charlie Caruso wanted to interview them in front of the crowd, and they come out do their little entrance. It was cool. I love Heavy Machinery. They're awesome, especially freaking Otis Dozovic. Otis, man. By the way, their names were dropped. They're now known as Tucker and Otis. They're not known as Tucker Knight and Otis Dozovic. They're just Tucker and Otis. So, good job WWE on dropping more names. It continues. So, they get interviewed by Charlie Caruso, and then they kept saying that Charlie was asking them about like what the future holds for the Raw Tag Team division, and again, we still don't know what brand these guys are going to be on, but they said whatever brand they're on, they're still going to take over, and they're going to be one of the most dominant tag teams in WWE. So, and then all of a sudden, Lacey Evans' music comes, and it hits the screen, and people are wondering, okay, because like I said, she just randomly showed up at the Chamber for no reason. She had nothing set up, no storyline set up, nothing. She just came out for like a minute, did her little entrance down the ramp, and then just walked away. And I was just like, okay, what the fuck? That was just bizarre. And basically that's the same thing that happened here. She started just doing her little entrance. She came out wearing this red jacket thing, and she had her little old school style hat or whatever. And this was funny because I couldn't stop laughing. Now, Otis Dozovic, man, this guy is a freaking comedian, man. Holy shit! If you didn't notice, when Lacey's music hit, Otis started moving his head to the tone of her music, and it was just fucking priceless. It was the funniest thing I've ever seen. Oh my god, that was just hilarious. As soon as her music was hitting, it was like bam, bam, and Otis was just moving his head. The funniest thing, I couldn't stop laughing. I had to rewatch that like a bunch of times. It was hilarious. Otis is great, man. And then they started doing the bushwhacker little strut thing that they used to do. So now, and they did that around Lacey Evans or whatever. It was funny, dude. Otis is just awesome. I love Tucker too, but Otis is just fucking hilarious. So then we get on to this. Oh my god, I can't believe this was announced for the show. Earlier in the night, when Braun Strowman took on Baron Corbin in the tables match, after he won the match, they showed the little vignettes on the bottom of the screen. It showed Johnny Gargano, the NXT North American Champion, and the NXT Champion Tommaso Ciampa versus The Revival, the Raw Tag Team Champions. They just won the titles last week from Roode and Gable, and they are taking on DIY, reforming DIY, one night only. This was unexpected. I mean, when Triple H said they were making their debuts earlier in the night, I was just expecting them to do like one-on-one matches. I thought they were just going to have separate matches, but no, instead they actually team up, and it was great to see this again, because the last time we saw this match was back at NXT TakeOver Toronto in 2016, 2 out of 3 falls match for the NXT Tag Team titles. And I remember being the greatest tag team match I have ever seen in my entire life. I have never seen just an incredible tag team match like that one. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go on the WWE Network. If you are subscribed to the WWE Network, go to NXT TakeOver Toronto 2016 and watch Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa versus Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder, The Revival, for the NXT Tag Team titles in a 2 out of 3 falls match. You will not be disappointed. This was rated as the match of the year for 2016. It was a tag team match. Tag team wrestling, the best, man. Go and watch that match. The match they had on Raw last night, it wasn't as good as compared to the match at TakeOver 3 years ago, but this was an entertaining match. I did enjoy it for what it was. And before the match took place, we saw backstage before the match, before these guys were out, we saw the DIY talking to Roode and Gable. Roode and Gable welcoming them to Raw, and Johnny was saying that we're here to take over Raw. You know, we made NXT the A show. We're going to do the same thing for other brands. And then Ciampa came in. He was talking about, you know, we've done this before many, many times in the past, so let's do it again or whatever. Then the Revival came, and they said, boys, it's been a long time. Let's do this thing. And then they came out. We had the match. great tag team match, and DIY pick up the win in their first match on Monday Night Raw against the Raw Tag Team Champions, The Revival. And this was great. Sasha Banks and Bayley, the Women's Tag Team Champions, they came out to celebrate their title win at Elimination Chamber. And again, this was just bad because the crowd was dead, no reaction whatsoever. I feel bad for these girls. They deserve so much better for that. It was just ridiculous. Fuck this crowd. Fuck Lafayette, Louisiana. You guys are fucking miserable. You guys are dead. What kind of a crowd are you to not give a reaction to these NXT guys and then to Sasha Banks and Bayley? I mean, come on, man. It's ridiculous. And then Nia Jax and Tamina come in, and it was just stupid. Why they came out, I have no idea. I do not want for Sasha and Bayley's first feud as the Women's Tag Team Champions to be against Nia Jax and Tamina. Come on, man. We could do so much better than that. And then for the love of God, they made fucking Nia Jax try to bury Sasha Banks, saying that, oh, whenever you win a title, you can't retain it. You can't keep it in your first title defense. Like, yeah, I get it. We know that's true, but don't have to bury my girl Sasha Banks like that. You don't have to bury my baby Sasha Banks like that. Man, come on. That's stupid. Don't do that. And then if that wasn't even work, if that wasn't bad enough, they gave the fucking microphone to Tamina, and Tamina, oh my god. I don't even remember what she said, but it was just stupid. And then they try to get an offense in on the champs, and then Sasha put in the bank statement, and Nia Jax ran away, and then that was the end of that. I do not want to see this match at Fastlane or WrestleMania. Just get this off. Get Nia Jax and Tamina off my TV, please. They're miserable. They're god awful. Drew McIntyre, Dean Ambrose. Earlier in the night, Seth Rollins was being interviewed backstage, and again he mentioned that whether he is going to be on a stretcher or he's going to be walking out on his own 2 feet at WrestleMania, he's going to be walking out of WrestleMania as the new Universal Champion. He promised he will, and I truly believe that, because we need a full-time Universal Champion on the show. We had a Roman Reigns, but he had his leukemia, had to vacate the title in October, and now we're waiting for the right man to take that opportunity and be a full-time Universal Champion. And that man is Seth frickin' Rollins, the Keenslayer. Could be known as the Beast Slayer once he defeats Brock at WrestleMania. Ambrose came in. This was actually after the match. So, Drew McIntyre, he was talking to Triple H backstage earlier in the show, and he mentioned all these NXT guys coming to the show, and he was talking about Seth Rollins. He said he wants to main event Seth Rollins. He wants to main event WrestleMania, and he wants that title opportunity, and he doesn't want it to be Seth Rollins. Triple H wanted to give him a chance, and then Drew McIntyre stated he wanted a match with Seth Rollins. Ambrose came in. Ambrose said, I got nothing going. I want you to take on me. And he literally slaps McIntyre right in the face. That was hilarious. And then Drew McIntyre looked pissed as hell. Triple H said, you still want the match? You still want me to make that match for you? And then McIntyre said, make the damn match. And now we have Drew McIntyre, Dean Ambrose. Dean Ambrose, man, I don't know what this was. He barely got in any offense, and he suffered not 1, but 2 Claymore kicks, and he lost in under 2 minutes to Drew McIntyre. Stupid. However, after the match, we saw Ambrose backstage with Rollins. Again, Rollins was talking. And then Ambrose came in, and he said, where were you out there? I thought you were supposed to have my back. And Seth Rollins, the look on Seth Rollins' face, man, was priceless. He looked at Ambrose, he's like, have you completely lost your mind? Ambrose looks at Rollins and he's like, maybe. The look on Seth Rollins' face, man, I can tell he wanted to crack a smile. I knew he was gonna laugh, because Ambrose is just Ambrose is great, man. Again, it really sucks he's leaving the company, but it could all be a work. It could be a work. If Ambrose does re-sign with WWE, God bless you, man. God bless you. Please treat him right if he does re-sign with the company. Make him a top priority on Monday Night Raw. I said the same thing with Sasha Banks. If you're going to have this woman be a tag team champion with Bayley, then you have to have her be the Raw Women's Champion at the same time. make Sasha Banks a top priority on Monday Night Raw in the women's division. And you could do the same thing with Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins. Just, come on, man. So yeah. And Ambrose's face was just priceless. So we had Elias come out. Elias was talking trash to this crowd. Thank God, because I knew somebody was going to talk trash to this crowd. And Elias stated that you guys are miserable. You don't deserve a concert. Blah blah blah. And then he mentioned, of course, silence your cell phones, and most importantly, shut your mouths and wait until my thing is over and applaud or whatever. And then Aleister Black's music hits, and we saw the epic entrance. This was miserable. Why? Because we had no reaction to Aleister Black's entrance. We saw the candle, we saw the lights, we saw the dark, black, nothing. No reaction to Aleister Black. That is a huge fuck you to WWE. Unbelievable, man. These NXT guys, they shouldn't have. If you were gonna debut these guys on Raw, don't do it in a shitty dead crowd like Lafayette, Louisiana. Do it in a good crowd where you're gonna get a good reaction. In like Philadelphia, if Elimination Chamber was in Houston, Texas, why couldn't they move to the San Antonio for Raw or Dallas? Why couldn't they done that? Why did they go to fucking Louisiana? That was stupid. Whoever's idea was that for the Raw after the Chamber to be in Lafayette, Louisiana is a fucking idiot. Should have done it in San Antonio, Texas, or Dallas, being that they could have still been in Texas. Ridiculous. Fuck Louisiana. They should never go back there again. So Aleister Black comes out and he has a match with Elias, and he stated that Elias will fade to black, and that's exactly what happened. Elias gets taken out in like 5-6 minutes. It was a quick match. They went to commercial. They came back, and then it was a very quick match. Like I think it lasted like 7-8 minutes or whatever, and then Aleister Black just, man, when they showed the slow motion replay of Aleister hitting the black mask on Elias, man, shit, Elias fucking sold the shit out of there, bro. Man, the look on Elias's face, you knew he was hurt. You knew he was hurt. He was just dazed. He didn't know what was going on. And Aleister Black picks up the win in his first match on Monday Night Raw. We move on to the main event. We have Ronda Rousey, the Raw Women's Champion, taking on Ruby Riott in an Elimination Chamber rematch for the Raw Women's Championship. This was better than the match they had at the Chamber, being that this wasn't rushed, being that this was the main event of the show. And Ruby Riott did get offense in. There was a few times in this match where I thought Ruby was going to win, but of course they're not going to have Ruby Riott defeat Ronda Rousey because we're trying to build up to Becky and Charlotte and Ronda at WrestleMania. That's what the plan is. That's the storyline moving forward. And yeah, and then Ruby, of course the Riott Squad was out there. We knew that, being that they were in the Chamber match on Sunday, and then Ruby was by herself, and then she lost to Ronda in like 2 minutes, which was stupid. But here the match lasted longer. This was like 10-15 minutes around there. And then the Riott Squad, they tried their best to interfere, but they got taken out for it. And Ronda even did a crossbody to both Logan and Morgan or whatever. So yeah, and Ronda hits a crossbody on them. She goes back into the ring. She takes out Ruby Riott with a counter, and she jumps into the armbar, and Riott taps out. So there's that. And that is the end of the show, guys. I'm not going to say it was a bad show. I enjoyed it for what it was. It was not entirely boring, but it was okay. It was okay. I enjoyed the debuts of the NXT stars. I just didn't like that you had to put them in such a dead crowd in Lafayette, Louisiana. Ridiculous. But I think the next 3 Raws are going to be in good hands because we have better crowds. One of them being in Chicago, March 18th, Chicago for Raw. I am not going to be at that because I'm going to be meeting AJ Styles on March 8th, 7th, around there. I don't know if I made that announcement yet, but yes, I will. I'm probably going to make it in a quick video after this. I'm just going to be saying that I'm meeting AJ Styles in less than 3 weeks. I'm really excited for that. But yeah, guys, if you enjoyed my Raw reaction or my Raw review, please don't forget to leave a comment, like, subscribe, favorite. RKO, the like button out of nowhere. And I didn't mention this in the past few videos, Don't forget to hit that little bell in the top right corner of your screen, and so that way you get notified for my future uploads. And I'll be back shortly with another video, guys. Until then, I will see you all in the next one. Peace. Too sweet.